Hello, everybody, and welcome to the many views of Georgetown 14, where just yesterday I saw the latest Pixar movie, Inside Out. Now, from the earliest trailers and descriptions of the movie, I had major doubts about this movie. The whole idea of the movie is just following the thoughts and emotions inside of a person's head just didn't gel for me. But when it came out, I went in and gave it a shot. After seeing the film, I still don't care for it, but at least it's not as bad as just watching the trailers alone. This movie really simplifies of how the brain works and emotions and stuff. There's only like 5 emotions in the head, then they take turns of controlling the brain of the girl Riley and her life of growing up. They said that she's 11 at the beginning of the movie. Not only that, but the emotions didn't take form until after Riley started to open her eyes after she was born. And it was from there that the brain and the cities inside the brain and all the little things that do things in the brain started to grow and multiply and so on. Yes, as people grow in age from infant to adolescence, teenager to adulthood, and then until elderly, the brain does change in many ways. Evolution, biology, lifestyle, it just changes. This just makes it so simple and quite inaccurate. To get more of a realistic cartoon that describes the brain, you just watch some of those commercials about depression medication. They actually give factual information. But that's just one of my big things I have against this movie about how it's simple. That's just one of the big things I have against this movie, that it simplifies how the brain works for kids, and I find that in many ways that it doesn't really work quite. I find that in many ways it doesn't really describe the brain right. I'm no brain surgeon, I'm more of a rocket scientist, so I'm sure that maybe they got a few things right. I'm just looking at it and it's just that this is probably one of the least believable Pixar movies I've seen. Then again, I haven't seen all of the first Cars, I haven't seen all of Cars 2, but I found those movies to be more believable than this. Another problem I have with this movie is that it's like run 2 movies at once. You got the emotions in the brain and all the struggles they're having, and then you got the girl Riley and all the hardships that she's going through in her life, be it by outside stimuli or just by the emotions in her brain just goofing up and breaking things. But there are some high notes to this. It is quite creative in some parts. Mainly the little imagination land where there's a lot of kooky things and they came up with some crazy stories of what Riley used to pretend about. There's one character that just sort of pops in at one point, and I gotta say that he was pretty much a highlight, but you don't get enough of him. There were quite a few jokes that really did pay off pretty well. There's even a running gag, which that I'm sure that anybody who's watched 1 minute of TV that they would naturally get. Amy Palmer, who has also starred in Parks and Rec and was also well known on Saturday Night Live, she was quite fabulous in this. She played Joy very well, pretty much just as a counterpart to her character on Parks and Rec. The role was sort of written for her, which I gotta say that I wouldn't be surprised if the guys at Pixar made it so that they planned it for her to play the role. She does it excellently. But I do feel that the movie sort of relies on Joy a little too much, well, probably quite a bit much. Another great thing about this movie is the character Anger, who's played by Lewis Black, a well-known comedian who's also been on the Daily Show numerous times. Pretty much anything he says is hilarious. It's just his voice and also the way that he says it. You can tell that there's a lot of anger, which makes him perfect for Anger, along with some sincerity to it. If they just did a short this idea and just have it surround Anger, I would probably just liked it a whole lot better. Animation in this movie is very beautiful. The human characters are quite stylized, but just the way that their skin and movements and such are, that sure does give them a believable, almost lifelike quality. And also the emotions inside the head and quite a bit of the landscape, especially how imaginative everything is, especially in the little imagination world. It's just quite amazing and just stuff that Disney probably should be doing more of. I did get a bit teary-eyed in this movie, but it was pretty forceful tears. The movie has its happy moments, there's a lot of drama and hardships, which is good for anybody to see and to understand, but the sad stuff, they really did push it on. They made it so that there's no way you can't cry, not that you want to. Unlike the movies Wall-E and Up, which I cry and I'm happy I cried them because they do touch me. This movie, it just forces it on you wave after wave. They give you one reason to cry after another until they give you the one where it just all comes together. And I just don't like that. So the movie Inside Out is definitely not harmful to kids in any way. Go ahead, take your kids to it, enjoy. While you're there, get yourself some lovely popcorn at the Georgetown 14 Theater. I got myself a lovely medium bag for $6. You get a small bag for $5. For $7, you get a large bag, which comes with one refill. Their popcorn is fresh numerous times throughout the day, quite tasty. I love it. Plan to go back tomorrow for their free family film of Rio 2, I do believe. And I'll be sure to have plenty of popcorn and eat at that. Before the movie of Inside Out started, there was the little Pixar short called Lava. Little story that follows a volcano in the middle of the ocean. He's lonely, wants to fall in love. And if I say any more, it'll be spoiling it. Animation was quite nice. It was very short. I did like that the whole short, the whole narrative, and the dialogue is done in one very long song. It's cute, but I really wanted something different from that short. So unlike Inside Out, where I wasn't expecting much, but I actually got a little something, Lava, I was expecting something, but I didn't get very much. I know that Disney likes to stick these shorts lately at the beginning of their movies, like they did with Cinderella, Big Hero 6, Wreck-It Ralph, and so on. It's just that some of these shorts would probably be best if they were like better for straight to DVD or maybe premiere on the Disney Channel or maybe the Disney website. Unlike the Frozen Fever short that was on before Cinderella, which went well with the theme, this one just felt like padding to the pad out Inside Out just from runtime. So go see Inside Out if you wish. Take your kids if you have any, or maybe niece and nephew. We'll have fun. There's some good qualities to it. It's just that for a movie, it just really doesn't hit just right, especially to me.